Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be comparing a Hellcat Wrangler to a Wrangler 392. Now, the premise of this video is the fact that this Hellcat Wrangler right now is for sale for about $100,000, and a loaded up 2024 Wrangler Rubicon 392, the vehicle that you would order brand new if you were to order one today, is about $100,000. So if you've got $100,000 of cash burning in your pocket, do you buy a Hellcat Wrangler or do you buy the 392? Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Heber City, Utah, for giving me some time with this Hellcat Wrangler. It is still available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for Josh. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the Hellcat Wrangler is a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 that puts out over 700 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. It is so crazy to see a Hellcat powertrain under the hood. Like, it barely fits, that is for sure. Now, something that's random to mention, this has venting here for extra airflow, but the hood with this Wrangler is a lot lighter than the hood with the Rubicon 392. The Rubicon 392, you need to start hitting the gym to lift up that hood. But anyway, speaking of Rubicon 392, we've got a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that puts out 470 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque. And same deal, like, this thing barely fits under the hood. It's hilarious. Now, before we move forward with the review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the Hellcat Wrangler, you notice that it's pretty much a sleeper. Like, it looks just like every other Wrangler. You've got a winch here on the front end, you've got the steel bumper, and this is built off of Rubicon, so you've got the Rubicon tow hooks in red. Obviously, you've got the venting here in the center, and you guys can actually see the supercharger, which is crazy. That's just to keep things cool, because obviously that thing's going to get hot. And then you do have the little Hellcat badge here on the side as well. But other than the little Hellcat badge, I mean, it's regular Rubicon. And when you take a look at the 392, it's actually the same story. Now, with the 392, you do get the bronze accenting, which is pretty sweet, and then you got your 392 badge. Now, funny enough, this is the Hydro Guide. So on the Hellcat, obviously, that's to keep things cool, whereas with this one, this is your Hydro Guide, so completely different function for the hood scoop. But seeing them next to each other, let me know which one you like the looks of more. Now, popping on the side here with the Hellcat Wrangler, we've got 17-inch wheels and we've got 37s wrapped around that. And then with the Rubicon 392, this one has the Extreme Recon package, so 17-inch wheels, and then we've got 35s wrapped around that. And when you put it all together, the Hellcat Wrangler has this really cool lifted appearance. Again, it looks just like every other lifted Wrangler, but when you take a few steps towards it, then you can see Hellcat badge. Now, with the Rubicon 392, you guys can see, again, it also has like that lifted Wrangler appearance. Obviously, having 35 instead of 37s, it does look a little bit smaller, a little bit wimpier. And then you've got the exhaust tips. Now, this is an aftermarket exhaust from AWE, so a little bit different than the stock one. And then notice the exhaust actually dumps out over here, which is kind of, it's hard to see in camera because the lighting's horrible. There you go. You can kind of see it's helps out with departure angle, actually. But wrapping things up, both of these look so sweet. And here's the deal, is to the untrained eye, I think that, you know, just like a regular person would look at these and go, oh, lifted Wrangler. Like, they wouldn't know that that thing is a monster. That thing's also a monster, but just not as crazy. Now, quickly inside with the 392, as you can see, you got like bronze stitching throughout. You have the leather Rubicon seats. And then you do have the special steering wheel that comes with the 392, paddle shifters there on the back to shift the gears yourself if you want. And then something that's important to note, four-wheel drive all the time. So you've got four-wheel auto, four-wheel high part-time, neutral, four-wheel low. And then you got locking differentials, sway bar disconnect, all that. Comes with a Rubicon. And then you also have this for the exhaust to open and close the valves. And then notice the trim on the dash is gray there. But basically, loaded up Rubicon inside. And when we take a look at the Hellcat Wrangler, it's actually more of the same, except we do have these custom seats. I love how they say Hellcat Edition. It's so cool, but look at the really nice leather trim. And then this actually has a regular Rubicon steering wheel, because again, it's off of a regular Rubicon. So the 392, I'd say, has a slightly cooler steering wheel with the paddle shifters and everything. But the craziest part about this machine is that, first off, no valved exhaust, so it's always loud. Secondly, you still have the Rubicon stuff. Thirdly, you have two-wheel drive with this. So the Rubicon 392 has 4-wheel drive all the time, whereas this has 2-wheel drive and has 700 horsepower. And then obviously you got the red trim and everything with the Rubicon package, but whoop. Now, when it comes to pricing, to build a Hellcat Wrangler, it varies, but it looks like it costs about $160-ish thousand. Like I said, this one's for sale for about $100,000. It's pre-owned. And then with the Rubicon 392, if you do a loaded up 2024, it's about $100,000 now. So actually getting up and moving here, this thing sounds so crazy. What the heck? What the actual heck? And there's a lot of traffic up here, by the way. It's kind of crazy. But it's just like, it's so aggressive. It is so aggressive. Also, I need some climate control action here because it is boiling in here. This is such a cool sound. It's just like this aggressive, just. So I've been driving for a little bit longer and I'm surprised at how well this drives. So it does have the normal kind of Wrangler floatiness and vague steering. I'm doing that to emphasize that it does that. But aside from that, honestly, like, this is super daily drivable. Like, this is actually, like, hysterically daily drivable. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That sound, the sound that this thing makes is just stupid. So let's get another little acceleration here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How is this thing legal? How? How? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Let's get a little. It sounds so good. Setting off in my Rubicon 392, driving this back to back with the Hellcat, and I think there's potential. I'm going to turn this up so it calms down with the fan. I think there's some potential that I might hurt some feelings in this comparison, just a little bit. So first off, when it comes to sound, yeah, the Hellcat sounds better. 100% the Hellcat sounds better. It's not even like, I love mine has an aftermarket exhaust that I think is amazing, and I love my Rubicon 392, but having that supercharger whine just adds to the flair. Now I will say, this does drive, in my opinion, slightly better. They both drive really well, but the steering feels a little bit less loosey-goosey all over the place, like it's a little bit more direct. Still got some vagueness though, that's for sure. And then the other part of it is the suspension on this feels more buttoned down, if that makes sense, compared to the Hellcat. So it just, yeah, it seems like everything, like it feels like this was made to have this engine, whereas the Hellcat, it's like, it wasn't made for that engine, which is obvious, right? Because it's built off of a regular Rubicon, but it was, you know, kind of built to work with the engine. Hopefully that makes some sense. But aside from that, ride quality on them, the Rubicon the Hellcat Rubicon was definitely a little bit smoother with the ride quality. The shocks on that are better, so that's a big plus. I do like the steering wheel on this more. I think the steering wheel is a little bit better, feels a little bit better in your hands and everything. And getting up here a little bit further, something else to note is I can tell there's a difference in axle ratios. I don't think they upgraded the axle ratio in that Hellcat Wrangler. I don't know though. Like, this definitely doesn't feel as powerful, but it feels like there's a little bit more oomph right off the bat, like. But the Hellcat's definitely crazier, 100%, 100%. So to fully sum things up here with this very strange comparison that I never thought I'd make on this channel, Hellcat Wrangler versus 392 Wrangler. Gosh, it's tough. I think that Hellcat Wrangler is so cool. It's such a cool vehicle. It drives really well. Like, it was that build, they did a really, really good job with that. With that being said, this feels like a little bit more buttoned down. And again, it makes sense because this like was meant to have this much power from the factory. What I'd be interested to see, and I don't know if anyone's done this, is to put a Hellcat in one of these 392s, because the 392 has a much stiffer chassis and everything compared to the regular Rubicon. And so I wonder if that would fix a lot of the driving quirks that has. But again, that still drives really well. Let me know which one you'd pick. I'll be honest, as a 392 owner, I'm kind of on Team Hellcat, but I still see some benefit. And then the other thing's warranty, right? This has a warranty, whereas that, since it's engine swap, you're not gonna, at least I don't think, I don't know, but I don't think that has a warranty. But regardless, let me know which one you'd pick. I don't think you can go wrong. Like, if you can afford either of these vehicles, you're winning.